Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now before we start the video, I want to address about something regarding to my last video. Now as some of you know that I made a mistake, a tiny little mistake from my last video, kind of like recommending you guys to save pattern for Nier, which now I know that it's pretty unrealistic because it's way too far ahead before the collab happens. So I did make I did apologize to you guys. Hopefully you have seen the community post that I post, apologizing, addressing that you probably shouldn't save your patterns for Nier if you don't plan to do that. Like, it's completely up to you. You could resonate your pattern with Alpha, A-Class Bianca, whatever you want. I'm not here to make the decision for you guys. It's up to you because it's your account. Now, I will admit that was a mistake on my end. I'm sorry, I apologize. Hopefully you would see the community post that I posted. And what I want to say is, I'm a human as well, just like you guys. I'm not a robot, so I will make mistakes as well. But when I make a mistake, and as soon as I realize it, I would immediately inform you with the up-to-date information as soon as I possibly could, because I don't want to misguide you guys. That's my intentions. So I can't promise you guys that I'm never going to make any mistakes again in my future videos, because I definitely would, because I'm growing as a content creator, you know. When you make mistakes, you recorrect yourself and you keep on going. That's how you grow. People grow the most when they make the most mistakes. So that's all I have. So that's how my mind works, because my mindset is all about not doing all the right things all the time. You will do the wrong things sometimes, but as soon as you know it, correct it, and make better videos in the future. That's how you grow. That's basically how I plan to do in the future as well. Now, I know some people would still remember the mistakes that I made and they would never ever forget it. Even if after like a few weeks or few months after I make like better videos, they would still use that tiny little mistake to kind of twist the knife into your wounds, right? You can't really do anything because, I mean, that's YouTube. You have the good side and you have the bad side. It's almost like a yin and yang, right? You have the white one, you have the black one. All things have to be balanced. You have people who support you, and you definitely would have haters who doesn't like you. So what I'm basically saying is, I know my intention. My intention to make videos on YouTube, hopefully to provide you guys info, advice, or maybe like entertainment in the future, hopefully when I could stream. That's my intention, to provide the best that I could possibly offer, you know. That's all I think about. That's why I like making videos. I don't care if no one watch it. That's what I like to do. Now, because I love the game so much, I played pretty much every single day, and Alpha is by far the most fun construct that I've ever played. Never have so much fun in such a long time. That's why I have so much more things that I still want to share on my channel, you know, just basically better content for you guys to consume. If you would still choose to believe in me, thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna try to improve my content better. Try to get information correct instead of trying to, you know, post like misinformation. I'm not gonna promise that I won't post misinformation in the future, because the sources are limited, right? You could only get what you could see. So I'm gonna try to confirm that as much as I possibly could before posting a video. So thank you guys for your support. Now, for those people who hate my content, it's not that hard to avoid my content. Basically, just pop into my video, click a dislike, comment down below "you suck," and that's it. Click out a video, and if you ever see my video on your recommended feed ever again, you know there's like a 3 dot there, right? It's kind of like an option. Click on it and press "don't recommend channel" again, and you'll never see my face again. Goodbye. And for those of you who actually comment like a really heartwarming comment on my apology post, thank you so much. That really helps when, you know, during the 3 days when I kind of think that, oh shit, I kind of mess things up. Those comments really help me. Thank you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to do better and better videos in the future, kind of provide you guys useful content, valuable content, maybe entertaining content sometimes. And hope for the time being you'll keep supporting me and I'll keep growing as a content creator. So thank you so much. Now, enough of that. Let's get into the video today. Now, if you've already seen the title, you know what I'm going to talk about today. The first we're going to talk about is 6-star versus 5-star weapons. The second we're going to talk about is the teammates for Alpha. And the third we're going to talk about is the memories for the support characters, the tank characters, and Alpha itself. So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, I know a lot of F2P players couldn't afford to pull Alpha a signature weapon, basically, because they have already wasted all the black cards on Alpha banner. Maybe they hit a pity like me, or maybe they're not, they're just lucky, but they still want to save black cards for future banners. Now I'm going to show you a few videos to compare between these two weapons. Be reminded that I actually have this weapon to level 40. You can see the stats. Attack damage is 329. The crit rate is 180. Zero resonance. Simple. The 40 level weapon that I'm going to compare is this one, which has an attack damage of 262 and a crit of 141. As you can see already, both are the same level. The stats are different because one is 6-star, one is 5-star. But I actually do have these two resonated. So they both add like precision 2 adds like, including one adds like 60 damage and 60 crit for this weapon. So when you kind of compare like 60 crit for this weapon, it won't directly add into what you're seeing right now, but you could assume that 60 damage has already added into this weapon, so it should be around like 322 attack damage, and 60 plus 144 crit is 201 crit. And when you compare to this one, you can see their stats are kind of like similar now after you resonate it. If you resonate it to like the third one, you might get extra 30 damage and 30 crit, then the base stats would actually overwhelm this weapon. Now, we're gonna compare it. I did a few tests. I go through like what, 4 to 5 games on Pancake using purely Sakura and purely Kujinosada without any memories, because I don't want those like crit rate kind of affected damage that you're gonna see in the outcome. So take a look at this.
私の力はどう？存分に楽しむの？遅い。深淵に弱い。弱い。深淵の豪華で全て終わらせてあげる。遅い。私の力はどう？存分に楽しむの？
Well, as you guys could see at the results, the highest amount of score that I could possibly get on the Pancake with 6-star weapon, 0 resonate, is about like 45k on a really, really good one without making too much mistakes. The best that I could possibly get on this weapon Resonated 2 to Resonate is around like 44k. So the difference are pretty small for now. It's gonna get even, the difference is gonna get bigger when you kind of overclock your weapon to level 45, because if you take a look at this, when you overclock it, the attack growth per level is gonna grow to 1.1 at level 45, and that's it. But when you take a look at this one, when I overclock this one to level 45, now each level grow, I would get 1.41, which is 0.3 more than the 5-star weapon. So eventually the stat is gonna go even, is gonna have like even a bigger difference. It's gonna hit like a higher damage, higher crit compared to level 45 5-star weapon. But the thing is, Resonate actually helps. Now I'm not saying that Resonate is easy to farm, because getting like 3 extra 5-star weapon is insanely hard to farm if you're just purely relying on doing co-op. Most people that get to like 3 Resonate is probably like pulling weapon banners, basically getting the 100% guarantee on the 5-star weapon. So now even getting to like precision attack 3, you know, fully Resonate your 5-star weapon, the amount that you could keep up with the raw damage that a 6-star weapon have and the raw crit rate that a 6-star weapon have, even you could get to as close at that 6-star weapon, you still could not compare like their passive basically. I mean, look at this passive, it's pretty much useless. Attack have 20% chances calling down lightning that strikes 50% physical damage, 3-second cooldown. So you could pretty much active that every 3 seconds. But if you compare it to this Alpha signature weapon, that's nothing basically when you compare to this weapon. I mean, if you take a look at it, for each orb ping, physical damage increased by 2% for 5 seconds, could be stacked up to 10 times. That means your raw attack damage when it hit, which is right now is 329, but when you ping up to like 10 orbs, you could get an increased damage of 20%, which is around like what, 33? Times 2 is 66. 10% of 330 is 33, so 20% is 60. Adding 60 to 330 is pretty much like 390. So the raw damage kind of outperformed the 5-star weapon, even though 5-star weapon had like resonated 3 precision attack, trying to get to as close as the 6-star weapon's base stats. You couldn't compare the passive ability at all, and you get an extra sword wave during your sword wave mode. So to fully utilize the passive, all you need to do is just get into Alpha's core passive. I assume a lot of you guys know how to do that. 3 blue orbs and a random 3 pink. That's 6 orbs total. That would get you to up to like 6 stacks, and as soon as you enter sword wave mode, you gain an extra sword wave orb with this weapon. So now all you have to ping is like 4 sword wave orb to get to like fully stacked. So after 4 orbs, the rest of their sword wave orb is just gonna get the buff of like 20% attack damage increase. So you're gonna do so much more damage the more sword wave orb that you have. So basically, this is why like I think this weapon is far way superior than a 5-star weapon, even if they like fully resonate. But alright, I can't decide for you whether you should or should not pull for the 6-star weapon, so listen carefully. My job is to offer you the advice and the info, the best advice and info that I could possibly offer. Follow it or not, it's completely up to you, but I consider that 6-star weapon is far more superior than a 5-star fully resonated weapon. That's just my opinion, right? That's my opinion, solely my opinion. That shouldn't be your opinion, shouldn't be what you should listen to. I'm just offering what I know best, that's all. I'm not saying it that it's fully correct. If you want to go with 5-star fully resonated weapon, you could. It's really good, pretty decent, just not as good as the 6-star weapon. If you want to go with the 6-star weapon, go for it. It's completely up to you. I'm not responsible for that. Now enough with the weapons, let's talk about team members. Now if you're gonna go for a Warzone, having Karenina versus not having Karenina in a Warzone makes a huge difference. Because Karenina QTE is to kind of pull all the mobs together in one place, so that Alpha, when she does her core passive, which has AoE damage, could kill them all at once. Basically that, you know, kill the mobs kind of faster than compared when you try to kill the mobs one by one. It's just gonna waste so much more time. That's why I think Karenina is such a good character for Warzone. Now the second one, you could either go for a Liv, if you have A-class Liv, to heal. You could go with Kamui. His QD is to kind of reduce the enemy's defense, which is, if you can take a look at here, I'm sorry. Skills, QTE, yeah, this one. Reduce reduce defense of the target 5% for 6 seconds. That's a pretty long, and it stunned the target for 3 seconds as well. So you could go with this one, or you could go with B class Nanami. Basically, if you got her to like S class, you would get an unlocked skill, which is pretty much let me take a look at this. Oh yeah, this is the one. When you reach S class on Nanami, attack lowers the target extra damage reduction by 15.88%. Pretty much applying a debuff to your enemy. So you could go with Nanami as well. I think Nanami is pretty good because of her like blue orbs. You know, kind of decreasing the enemy physical resistance by almost 50% at this point. If she reaches like what, level 80, she would have even a higher physical resistance debuff. And B class Nanami also have like this free weapon, which attack has 30% chances of inflicting a broken armor, reducing the enemy's defense further, again 5%, can be stacked up to 5 times. Nanami has her S class passive, reducing the enemy's attack reduction. Her blue orbs kind of decrease the enemy physical resistance almost like by 50% at level 55. The more you go, the higher that's gonna get. And her weapon, inflicting broken armor. That's why I said she is such a good physical support, because she has so much debuff. Compared to like Kamui only has like a QTE, but the QTE does provide stun, which is very useful in certain situations. So that's all I have. And the another teammate that you could go pretty much like the basic like for Warzone is you could go with Alpha and Karenina, and then this one. If you have Kamui, you didn't train your B class Nanami, you know, kind of pull them together at a place, and when you active Kamui's QTE, you could kind of stun them all and, you know, kind of apply those debuff. And the another teammate you could go with is, I don't know, like A class Bianca as a sub DPS if you don't have a healer, or maybe you could go with a B class Liv to kind of provide that minute healing, which, you know, she's pretty much a sub DPS at this point. Her healing does do something, but it's not as good as A class Liv or S class Liv. Of course, if you have S class Liv, you could go with it, or maybe this one, or maybe this one. Completely up to you how you want. Now I'm gonna tell you my team comp for Warzone. It's gonna be Lucia, Alpha, with Karenina, and either I would go with a Kamui or a Nanami. Or basically, if I lack healing, you know, I'm kind of trying to achieve that 100% health to get more points, I would go with my A class Liv. That's my team comp. You don't have to follow it. Just go with whatever you have, or you could go with whichever team comps that works the best for you. Now I'm just providing you that what I want my team comp to be. I think this team is really good. If you have a way superior team comp that deals more damage than my team, go with it. Don't follow my team if you're dealing more damage, because that's kind of stupid to follow a low damage team if you could. I'm only offering like a kind of an example for people who doesn't know how to build their team. This is all I have, and this is my team comp. You don't have to follow it. If you could build a better team, go for it, right? I'm just offering you an example. Now for Pain Cage, I can't offer you anything. A lot of people would go with A class Kamui and B class Nanami to kind of try to one-shot the Pain Cage bosses when your unit reaches like level 80, because now that you could awaken them, you could gain like a 3 core orbs that you would get. So basically when you switch to another person during the start of the battle, Nanami would get like 3 extra blue orbs, Alpha would get like 3 extra blue ups, so that allows them to pretty much go into their core passive, or, you know, giving Nanami the 3 blue ups to reduce the enemy's defense immediately. So that works when it's awakened. From my knowledge, if you have a better one, you could do with it. That's what I know, and that's it. But for me right now, I'm definitely going with a healer and a tank, basically, whichever. Kind of like, maybe if I feel like using Kamui, I use Kamui. And when I feel like using Nanami, I would use Nanami. Based on how I feel. That's all I can say. Now, for the memories, for Alpha first, we'll talk about the support characters later. You have 3 ways to go. Maybe even more ways if you decide to do something else. Pretty much a very standard set is Patton. 4 sets of Patton, you could go with that. 4 sets of Frederick, if you want to go with that. Or 4 sets of Hana. Hana is an option as well, which is really good. Whichever you have, use them. If you have Hana, you don't have Frederick, you don't have Patton, use Hana. If you have Frederick, you don't have Patton, you don't have Hana, use Frederick. If you have Pattern and you don't have Hana or Frederick, use Pattern. Completely up to you. And if you have more than two of them or 3 of them, go try it out in Pancake. Go with 4 sets Pattern, go with 4 sets Frederick, go with 4 sets Hana. Whichever playstyle suits you the best, whichever deals the most damage, just go with that. It's completely up to you. Do it yourself. If one of the set that you kind of try and it got to like the highest points compared to the rest of the 2 sets, then go with that. That's definitely the best for you. You can try it out. It's completely up to you. But the confirmed 2 sets that I'm gonna say is after you use like a Pattern, a Frederick, or a Hana, next 2 set is definitely gonna be Darwin. Now you could change that to whatever 2 sets that you want, up to you. But I would say if you have Darwin, the 2 sets Darwin is definitely the best, because for each orb ping, all damage increased by 3% for 4 seconds. That could be stacked up to 5 times. When Alpha enters Sword Wave mode, she will pretty much be pinging her orbs immediately, like kind of throwing out Sword Wave. So this buff would stay as long as the orbs keeps going out. So it's pretty much like very, very good for Alpha. Now for debuff memories for your tank or your healer, I did recommend a few ones in my previous video, like the B class weapon and memory video, and the A class one as well. But the ones that you probably would want to get is these few ones. For physical damage DPS, Da Vinci, regardless if you're a physical damage or you're elemental damage, this increases the overall damage. When QTE is triggered, triggers another constructs QTE for her 4 set skills, increase the damage by 20%, and when the QTE is active, her 2 set skill active as well, so you're basically gaining extra 30% damage for your DPS on the stage. Catherine, easy to understand. A QD hits, you know, kind of active QD for an enemy, or A-class Kamui kind of hit the enemy, you reduce their physical defense by 20%. So it's pretty much very good for physical damage, and Philip 2 as well. If you're using Liv that heals, whenever you pop the Liv's QT to heal your DPS, you get an increased physical damage by 10%. That's it. These 3 stats are, these 3 memories, Da Vinci, Catherine, and Philip 2 is really good for physical damage DPS. So that's all I have. One last thing, if you guys see like toxic comment down in the comment section below because of the mistakes that I made for my last video, you definitely would see a few of them. Just ignore them, right? Don't even give them attention. They're seeking for attention. They're basically like, you know, they have nothing to do in your life, so ignore them. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you found it helpful and you want to see more in the future, I would keep improving my content as much as I possibly could. I would give out the best information that I could possibly offer. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.